All right. Well, it was a great victory for our team. Really proud of everybody. Just a great effort. Obviously, a great battle between two teams that seemed very evenly matched. And the first half showed that, and then the second half we got some things going, got a little bit of run game going. Kept using some of our quick passing game and the little bubble screens and things of that nature to keep the ball moving a little bit. In the very end, to finish with the touchdown on that last drive was huge. I think we had a nice kick return it was close to being a disaster, and we knew the wind was blowing, so we moved him up 10 yards. 10 yards wasn't quite enough, and the ball hit the ground just like it did on their guy. Their guy got a nice Sunday hop. Our guy got a rough hop, but he finally Malcolm got a hold of it and had a nice return, and then we were able to score in the end, which was great. I thought the defense played fantastic again. Made some beautiful plays when it counted the most. Got some turnovers. Almost had another spectacular one in the end zone before that last touchdown they had. And Vogel was big. The 58-yard punt was a monster. It had to be at least a 5-0 hang time, which is very, very rare. 58 yards. To kick it 58 and get a guy to fair catch it, that's hard to do. It means you kicked it far, obviously, but you kicked it high enough to get coverage down there and force a fair catch. And we needed to flip the field right there. It was not a very good offensive series at that moment, but overall, a very outstanding day for us, and just thankful to get number 7.
Questions for Coach Richt?
Mark, how tough was it to run against that front?
Yeah, they're very physical, very big, strong, and they're a veteran group. We talked about that in the beginning of the week. 9 juniors, 2 seniors, a lot of red shirts. Just a group of guys that have been around and have developed. The longer you're in the program, the bigger and stronger you get, and the more experienced you get, and the tougher you get. And they did a super job. We were able to break out with a couple long runs, and that was the difference really in the ball game, I thought.
When you mentioned that, when you talk about just that run defense, how much more remarkable does that make what Mark was able to do today?
Well, it was big, and there's always got to be some blocking up front. A couple times when he did break loose, it was just excellent blocking. Maybe a side tackle, but that he broke here and there. But our line, it started out. Sometimes you got to chip away. And then eventually something will break, and you got to stay patient running the ball, and you can't just abort the running game completely and chunk it every down. It's not healthy for anybody. But it was a nice job by the linebackers, tight ends. Overall, it was a good job. I'm assuming I'll see some downfield blocking as well on some of those longer runs.
Mark, Amon Richards breaks Michael Irvin's 31-year record,
Right.
31-year-old record,
Right.
for most receiving yards by a
Yes. Well, I'm proud of Amon. Amon, he's a guy that you watch his high school tape, you knew he was going to be a special player. You meet him, you realize he's a special person on top of it. Just even how he handled his recruitment, and had a lot of people wanting him at the very end, and he went through a coaching change and all that kind of thing, and he just stayed true to his word, and it's blessed him. It's blessed this program. I'm sure Michael Irvin will be okay with that. It's fun to hold records, but it's also fun to see a young man do great things, and for it to last 31 years is pretty spectacular.
Are you having to use short passing game because of circumstance more so than at most points of your career?
Not really. People want to play one high defenses and play man coverage. I love the quick game. That's always been a thing for me, and I try to develop plays that have a chance in a one high look and a two high look. One high, work this side of the field, two high, work that side of the field type thing. I mean, a lot of people do that. But then when you had the RPOs, we didn't run the run pass option plays much 20 years ago or whatever it was when I was, back when I was calling at Florida State and early in the Georgia days. So with the true quick game, which is kind of a slide protection and a back everybody's trying to cut the linemen and get their hands down, and throwing quick routes, slants, run-its, fades, speed outs, that type of menu. I've always loved that, but then now you add the bubble screens and and the run-pass option where you stick the ball in the belly, and you may hit a slant off of that, or you may hit a speed out off of that. And then always, you got to keep honest with some deep shots. And so, I mean, I've always liked to do that, and they just played an awful lot of one-high defense, which matched up their corners on our receivers for the most part, and sometimes their safety on our tight ends. And overall, I thought we executed pretty good.
Couple more questions.
The wind really picked up maybe around the second half, second quarter. Is that when you saw it?
Yeah, it did. It did. I was glad to get in the fourth quarter because I thought the wind was really whipping in our face in the third quarter, and I was thankful we got touchdowns, going in that direction. And quite frankly, Badgley did a pretty good job kicking into the wind. The one time he actually got it, kicked it in the end zone, and then the next time, of course, is when it went really short and bounced, and the guy got a good hop on it. But I didn't want to be kicking a very meaningful field goal at the end into the wind, so I was glad we were going the other way. And I was perfectly happy I think we had 3rd and 3 or something on the touchdown run, and if we didn't make it, well, I was going to kick the field goal to make it a 2-score game, and there's always risk in that. Ball can get blocked and all heck can break loose, but we felt comfortable to do it at that time.
Did you think the wind hurt him on the miss, Badgley?
I don't know. I don't know what it does to the mind of a kicker or a quarterback, but the wind does affect a kick. Wind does affect a ball, even if it affects him in regard to, hey, I better kick it a little bit left because the wind's blowing across the field. Sometimes it'll affect a guy that way, and sometimes the wind will just actually knock a ball down or move a ball dramatically. There was enough. I think there's enough wind gusts that it could have affected any kick today.
Mark,
Okay, last question.
I mean, I'm good to have a couple more. Yeah.
You start out season winning 4, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And you lose
4.
4.
Mhm.
Then now you've won 3.
Right, that's
How
good.
good does that feel?
It feels good. It feels great, and it's it's fun to win, and these are conference games, very meaningful games, and I guess we're sitting 4 and 3 in league play, which you'd like to have a winning record, and we'd like to finish with 8 wins, obviously. We know we're going to a bowl, which is great, and like you said, this senior day, I've always seen the senior day to be a very meaningful day. It's very meaningful for our seniors, obviously. I think our teammates respect our guys enough to want to really help them have a great experience on their last home game. But that's what Virginia was going through, and that's what NC State was going through as well. We knew that. We know that there's a lot of emotion going into games like that. But we knew sooner or later the game was going to settle down, and hopefully, our execution could overcome the emotion of the game.
Mark, your initial thoughts on just how, I know you'll watch the film, but how the line did, and
Right.
especially you had another scare there for a second when Tyree came out.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little nervous there because we have been very, very thin. But I'd say overall, I mean, we rushed for 129, which is not a gaudy number, but it's a very respectable number against the number 1 run defense in our league, and I think 4th in the country in that category. And overall, we threw it and caught it pretty good. It wasn't, again, a spectacular day, but close to 300 yards there. Did we turn it over?
No.
I don't think we turned it over. That's huge. That might have been the difference in the game as well, the turnover ratio. Okay, we'll get one more maybe, if you got it.
Did it feel to you like this was a game where you might have to get turnovers, like Reed's interception, the fumble punt? You thinking, man, we might need one here?
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought they were one of the best teams we played all year. Really and truly, you watch, like I told the team last night. I said the more I watch their tape, the better they are to me. I said, I'm not afraid of them, but I respect these guys. These guys are really good. They're very physical. They're very well coached. They're the type of team that could have beaten just about anybody on their schedule. And for whatever reason, this play or that play. I mean, I saw the dropped interception against Florida State. That ends the game. They catch that ball, chip shot field goal to win the game against Clemson. It's just that close between winning and losing. And if they're 7-3 coming into this game with those 2 victories on their resume, it's pretty impressive. So they were in position to win those games. They just couldn't get it done. But they're a very good team and a very well coached team. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.